Hey guys, pardon all the kids in the background. I live right across the street from a school and it is a school day. All right, what we're looking at a signal right here from the probability tool suite. Right now I know if I click this little button right here, I know that 55.21% of the time we will have a winner. What type of winner are we talking about here? This is an option, a binary option. Even a Forex trade, if we look at what's called the touch mode, which we'll get into in just a minute. Right now, we're just looking at an expiry. Is price going to close above or below where it opened? Well, we don't know that, but we can look into the past. What's it done over a historical value? Right now, we are looking at a chart that goes back to 2016 on an hourly chart. I'm going to remove the data tools by hiding them. And you can see all of the signals that have been generated in a historical fashion. Now, as this runs, anytime a new signal pops up, it will give you a signal, and it will also alert you either on your MT4 platform or on your phone or in our chat room if we have those signals set up. So let's zoom in and see how this particular signal performed. As you can see, after the arrow came, which is notated by this middle beige line right here. It came on the open of the bar and price shot up about 20 pips right here. On the one previous to that, price shot up about 40 pips. Price shot up about 40 pips on the one previous to that. Price shot up about 40 pips on the one previous to that. Okay, here is one that is a loss. Price shot down 30 pips on the one previous to that. And price shot down 40 pips on the one previous to that. Now we can take all of this data right here and we can devise our own trading strategies out of these. These are looking at, again, these are what's called ATM or at the money expiries. Now what if we want to look at touches? Let's look at Forex, for instance. Okay, I've pulled up the Forex mode. Now on these particular parameters, which I will talk about in just a minute, if I click run, I'm going to find out if this strategy is any good for the Forex market as well. Let's see what happens. Okay, it wins 52% of the time. It has won 6 times in a row over the past 109 trades or signals, since these are hypothetical. And it has lost 47.71% of the time, and it has lost a maximum of 6 times in a row. Now, what are we actually looking at? What type of signal are we looking at right here? Well, we're looking at something called a new trend arrows, which is a price breakout indicator. And if you click on it here, it will give you all kinds of other indicators to choose from. You can mix and match these and put them all together. Note, however, if you add a lot of indicators on here, the number of signals that it's going to show you is going to drop dramatically because you can't just pile on everything. So let's investigate the Forex trade here. See if this is anything that we would want to trade. I'm going to scroll all the way to the end. And I can see that when the signal comes out, I can see how far it goes up, how far it comes down. These are at 50 pip intervals. You can see this. Your stop loss and your take profit are both 50 pips apart from the open. And you can simply scroll back and see everything. Now I'm going to do some stuff in real time while I'm talking, just so you can see the power of the probability tool suite. Okay, I don't want to look at the Forex side anymore, so I'm going to go in the back. I'm going to change it back to the expiry. And as it runs, I'm going to tell you what it's looking at. I know that 54% of the time it closes above the ATM middle line here by expiry, and I can pick whatever expiry I want. This is just one set to like 3 a.m. or something, I don't remember. I know that also if I want to buy an in-the-money contract, either for an options contract or a binary options contract, I know how often that it has expired in the past. For instance, if I want to buy one way down here, it expires in the money 86% of the time, and I can see that right here. What if I want to go in here and I want to change some of the options? What if I want to take out this trend volume here? This only takes trades if the volume is above average, above just regular average volume. What if I want to take that out and I don't even want to look at volume? Well, let's run it again. Now the percentages went down, however the trade amounts went up. It will give you more signals, but the probabilities are not as good. However, the maximum win and the maximum loss still looks okay. And this is not, it didn't say that it lost 5 times out of 127. This says it lost a maximum of 5 in a row. This is for people that want to stack their trades and things like that. It will tell you how far over historical values that an outcome has occurred. If I want to change my expiry, it's pretty simple. I can go in here, I can change it to whatever I want, and I can even put it on custom. If I wanted an expiry, or what is an expiry? An expiry is a time out in the future when the trade is over and done with, no more. You are out of the trade by then with either a profit or a stop loss. I can set this at 142 if I want to. I mean, I'm not going to get any trades, and that's kind of arbitrary, but I can set it there, and I will show you what it looks like. Each one of these is 142 bars. If I wanted to set my expiry for, let's say, 3 a.m., because I like setting my expiry to 3 a.m., they have some pretty good probabilities sometimes. I know right now that from this one chart, it's got a 53% probability of winning. Well, if I'm looking over here and I see that it's got a maximum loss rate of 5, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to scroll to the end and I'm going to look at the number of losses that it's already had. Here, the last trade was a win, and we can look at this because we can see it right here. It's right on the line, and if you know anything about the bid-ask, this binary option was a win. What if we want to look at taking profits? Like, I don't know. Let's. I lost my place here. What if we want to look at just touch mode only? What is a touch mode? That means how often does price go up to a certain point and touch an area? Like, how often does price shoot way up here, touch the second area up here? It happens 49% of the time. That's how often it happens. 49% of the time, that happens. What about my stop loss? How often does price fall all the way down here? It does it 25% of the time. And how long did it take us to do that? Like 5 seconds. Right now we're looking at USD yen, 1 hour chart. Let's look at a 5-minute chart. Let's count how long it takes us in seconds. Ready? 1, 2, and there you go. It's there. And it will show you every trade. If it's too big, just scroll out on your charts. You can scroll out and you can see what's going on there. And when you see all of this and you can analyze all of these trades, it can tell you, like here's a live trade that came out just a little while ago. It gave an arrow, and right now the trade is live. Is it in the money or is it out of the money? Well, it's losing money right now because it's below where the price came out at. You can see that here. Scroll all the way to the end. Here's where price came at the open of this bar. And right now price is here. What's the probability that, let's say, this area up here is going to be touched before expiry or before the end of the contract right here? What's the probability of that? 72%. I know that. I can see it right there. This, we can use it on any chart. Here is a Euro-Yen chart. I can run it. Let's see. Does it perform? There you go. I can even run it on maybe stocks. Here's Boeing. Well, I need to adjust the pip value there, but it works on Boeing. It works on maybe an index. Let's go to an index such as the Wall Street 30, the Dow Jones 30, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you can see that there. What else can we do with it? Well, we can do all kinds of stuff with it. Okay, so we've got the touch mode. We've got dual touch, touch and retrace, touch and expire. There's your Forex mode, your stop loss and take profit. We've got dual expiry, a no-touch expiry. We talked about all the different expiries we've got over here that we can look at. We can look, what if we only want to take a trade at certain times of the day? It's using a military clock, and depending on your platform, it will depend on what you have to type in here. But what if you want to look at taking a trade at certain times during the day? There we go. Now we're only taking trades at certain times each day. If a trade comes along, there we go. I'm going to put it back on expiry. Then I'll run it again. Well, what if I'm looking at the chart and I think, well, this only gave me 15 trades. Something doesn't seem right there. What's going on? There we go. And as I scanned my charts back, I didn't have enough data, so I've only got 15 signals to look at here. However, it's in a live signal. What happened after it gave the signal earlier today? Let's scroll over there and see. Well, after the signal came, it fired way up here. By the way, these do not repaint at all. Will never repaint. Repainting indicators are nonsense. Stay away from them. Now, fired up here now. We know that it wins 26% of the time over the past 15 signals. You can't derive anything from that. There's just not enough data. Not enough data. We can't base anything off of that, but that's what it did. What if we want to go and look at a USD CAD, but let's run the trend arrows. We're going to look at a USD CAD. We don't like the settings. We're going to lower those settings down a little bit. It's going to probably make our probabilities go even further down, but we're going to run it. And I can see right now that over 179 signals, it's got a 50-50. 46% by 53. Let's see what it does on reverse. Now, it won't be exact, probably, due to the bid-ask spread. It may be. We'll see on this one. There we go. No, it's not exact due to the bid-ask spread. However, so this is roughly a 50-50 trade. But are you going to take it knowing that over the past 181 signals that it has lost 16 times in a row? No, who's going to do that? So we're going to throw a filter on it. We're going to only look at trades that have volume that is below average. Let's see if this helps us out here. Okay, now our probabilities go up. There you go. However, it still has had 11 losses in a row. It wins more often than half the time now. But I don't like the 11 losses in a row. Who can withstand 11 losses in a row if this is going to become your strategy? Well, I can see right now that I just left my times when it's going to trade open. I mean, I left them at 16 to 22, which on my platform that is early morning Eastern. So I'm going to open them up, and I'm going to turn this trade on 24 hours a day. And we're going to take a look at the probabilities now. Ain't this fun? I love it. I do this every day. Okay, so now we can see that this strategy right here produces some probabilities that are a little bit different. And you can see what they are. What if I don't want to use the new trend arrows? What if I want to use the RSI on the regular settings? So say 14, 70 for the overbought, 30 for the oversold, and I want to look at trades or signals as soon as price gets into the oversold area. Here we go. And we're going to look at an hourly chart as well. So you can see right here, I have overlaid an RSI chart, and you can see that when price gets down into the oversold area right here, it gave a signal. Again, right here, price got down into the oversold area, and it gave a signal. Right here, price got down into the oversold area, and it did not give a signal. Why? Well, most likely because there was a sell signal up here which you don't see. Now, why didn't it give us a sell signal? Because I had it on long only, because the tool suite can look both ways, long only, short, and both ways. So now we're going to turn it back on again, and we are going to look again. There are the probabilities now, 40%. Do you want to trade this? No. You want to reverse it at the very least. Now it goes to 59%. This 59%, that's pretty daggone good, you know. However, we're looking back over 44 trades. But you want to know the coolest thing that I like to do? I'll call up my buddy, and I will call him up on the phone, and I'll say, "Hey Matthew, guess what?" And he'll say, "What? What do you want this time?" Because I call him all the time. I'll say, "How often do you think, looking at the USD CAD chart, an RSI with a period of 16 instead of 40, and an upper of 82 and a lower of 32.5. Why? Because I can. How often does that win? He's going to pull something out of thin air and say, I don't know. What are you trying to do? Because why? Because he don't know, but you do. You know that right now it wins 54% of the time. Now, how can this help you in your trading? If you know how often something wins, you can trade those probabilities. Don't trade things that don't win. What's a strategy that we've all heard that wins? Well, let's look at it. Moving average. A moving average, let's say, of 100 over a 200. And we will look at a cross of a fast above the slow. Here's some other things we can look at, but I'm not going to look at those right now. Now, we want to look at Forex. We don't want to look at any binaries. We don't want to skew any numbers like that. And we want to look at, I don't know, we're looking at an hourly chart. Well, let's look at an hourly chart with a stop loss of 50 and a take profit of 50. I mean, we can put in ATRs and fractals for stop losses and take profits, but right now we just want to put in the regular stop loss, take profit. Does this work? Does it work? Let's find out. Well, it works 48. No, that's reverse. Let's try it again. Here we go. 51.52% of the time. So technically, yes, it does work. Now, does it work long term? Well, depending on the data you have, you can scroll back long term and find out if it does. I've downloaded data all the way back from the year 2000 before on the hourly chart, and it'll give you, hundreds to thousands of different scenarios. People often talk about multi-time frame, not multi-time frame, let me just show you here. So we're looking at a 10 by 20 moving average crossover, right? And we're going to look at, we're going to put it on the 5-minute chart. Right here you can see 5-minute chart. 10 by 20 moving average crossover. The cross of the fast crosses the slow. We're going to look at moving averages again, the 10 and the 20 crossover. But this time we're going to look at the higher time frame, not the current time frame. Right now we're looking at a 5-minute chart. We're going to look at an hourly chart. We want that one to be trending in sync. Why is that RSI still there? I don't know. And now we also want to add another moving average. We want it to be on the daily. We want it to be trending in sync as well on the daily, because this is what people have taught on the internet. I'm sure you've heard it. Whether it works or not, we're getting ready to find out. Now there are 3 different time frames synced up. It's only going to move if the 10 and the 20 moves on the 5-minute, and also the 10 is above the 20 for a buy on the hourly and the daily, or 10 below the 20 on the hourly and the daily for a sell. Let's look. It's happened 84 times over the historical value, and it wins 47% of the time. They're full of crap. And this is the thing that the tool suite can show you. And I can show you by putting moving averages on the charts and all that. I'll do that, in a webinar one day. But it will show you the things that work and the things that don't. So the very next time somebody comes to you and says, hey man, I got a great strategy. It takes the ADX and the Ichimoku and it confirms it with the RSI. You can say, well, hang on, because I can tell you exactly if that works here in like 2 minutes. You give me the parameters, I'll tell you if it works or not. And you can do this with anything. So that is what the probability tool suite does. I use it every day. I use nothing else in my trading, except for maybe a correlation thing or maybe a, something here and there. But this is what I use. It's my bread and butter. I'm glad that we could spend some time together. If you want to, my name is Ryan. Just give me send me a message. We'll chat, and I will show you a little bit more. All right, guys. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.